That's a no.
No, I haven't. I've tried watching it. And I was planning on doing it before this being episode 3 of Leonard Show Speaks. See how I did that? I slid it in there.
I did.
I did find a screener copy of it.
Did you?
It's on Kodi.
Yeah, I was watching a little bit of one that looked pretty good in the hour when I was waiting for you.
Right.
I'm like I
How many times have you seen it now?
I have seen it twice in the theater, and I watched it once on Kodi. We have to. Oh my God! I have to tell you, this is okay. One, it's funny. Two, the phrasing of this is why I love my wife.
Okay.
Dawn, we both wear glasses. Dawn has a thicker, she likes she's got like a thick-ish plastic frame. So 3D glasses haven't always played well.
I understand that.
For regular glasses. But so she hadn't seen a 3D movie for years, but then we saw Force Awakens in 3D, and it was fine. So, and she's like, oh, they've redesigned the glasses. They must have gotten feedback and what have you. So, okay. But I didn't realize she hadn't seen it in IMAX 3D.
Oh.
So, when I was asking her, because I got the tickets ahead of time, because the theater we like has assigned seating. So I asked her ahead of time, do you care how we see it? She's like, no, whatever. So I'm like, okay, we'll go IMAX 3D. Go big or go home. So we're in the theater, and okay, so the IMAX glasses are not sitting right. Mm-hmm. They're reflecting lights from around, because the only drawback of this theater, next to each seat, they've got this round, like, bat signal type of light where you can press a button for service. There's no reason for that light to stay on through the whole show.
That totally makes sense.
So she's getting lights reflected, and now the Russo brothers, you've seen Winter Soldier, right?
Oh, yeah. Fuck, okay. That was good.
So they have, fast-paced, frenetic action, and the opening of this flick, the shields whipping around and stuff. And when I first saw it in 3D, I'm like, whoa, man, I'm gonna have to watch this regular just to make sure I'm not like shit, because you're like in there. It's like it's very first-person shooter.
Yeah.
The wife can't play first-person shooters.
Does she get nauseous?
She was starting to get nauseous. And it didn't help early in the film. So there's the big frenetic action. There's a garbage truck that's a part of the scene.
Okay.
You see it. And when the garbage truck came in, like this smell started to waft towards us. Like it smelled like garbage. Now they serve food in this theater.
You had smell-o-vision?
Well, it did not. It does not have smell-o-vision. We were just smelling someone's awful fucking tasting food. Ooh. So, but like, we had that moment where we're thinking, okay, I know there's a 4D theater somewhere in Illinois. I think it's in Rosemont. It's definitely not this one, because they would have charged like $30.
Wait, hold on. There literally is a 4D theater. This is a thing.
Yeah, there's a few.
You're fucking with me. You're fucking with me.
I am not. Okay, well,
I'm Googling it.
I have not personally been to one. But Kevin Smith, in his review of Civil War, talked about how he saw it in 4D. And like during the snow scenes, like they spray snow at you and shit. Like there's freezes. So for a second, we thought it was smell-o-vision. So okay, first she's getting nauseous because of the action, and then there's this smell wafting towards us, and it's like fuck. And it's a weekend afternoon, so I got the tickets ahead of time because there's not going to be anything else.
It's a real thing.
Yeah, I told you.
Holy shit. Okay, I know you. I fucking know you. You'll slide shit past me.
I'm not always a mischievous prick. I'm often a mischievous prick.
Like the time, what was it? What was it with Kara's house being broken into? And then, remember her house got broken into, and then afterwards you fucked with my head some more?
Did I?
Yeah, and then I had you come down here to visit and tricked you into eating Rocky Mountain oysters.
I don't think I actually ate the Rocky Mountain oysters.
Bullshit, you fucking ate them. You had testicles in your mouth.
Well, yeah, but I okay. It's
Your cam fucked up again, by the way.
what?
Your cam?
My image looks good.
Mine just like really zoomed in weird.
Well, now you're zoomed in on mine.
Yeah, I know why that is because I was trying to zoom earlier and it wasn't going and I kept clicking. Anyway, keep talking. It's not about the cam. It's all about the talk.
Exactly. So she's in the theater, getting kind of nauseous because of the action. Then the smell wafts over. So I'm like, okay, let's get out of here. So she saw roughly the first 10 or 15 minutes of the movie, and we couldn't. There wasn't another showing.
And this is Winter Soldier, Civil
No,
War.
this is Civil War
Oh,
now.
okay.
This is what we just did over the weekend. And when she was finally getting to go see it, and she's like, okay, and this is what sucks because she wasn't seeing the movie for me. She wants to see the movie. She's in on the Marvel flicks.
Yeah.
She doesn't need to watch each one 20 times like I do, but she does enjoy them. And so we could, if we wanted to see it not 3D, like it was just the first two rows that aren't stadium seating that are like right in the screen, and we didn't want to.
Yeah, you don't do that.
So we ate our food, which we had already ordered. So we had a nice intimate lunch in the lobby of the theater, which has some nice chairs and tables. So at least there was that. But we're driving home, and she's like, "Fuck! I wanted to see a fucking movie. I've got Marvel blue balls right now. You understand?" Because we got to see the first 15 minutes of the movie, and then we had to go.
Yeah. Oh fuck.
My sister is.
Did you get like a refund or anything? And be like,
Oh
hey,
yeah, we got our money back and everything.
Oh, kick ass.
That was all fine. Couldn't refund the food as easily, which we had ordered before the show. So
Yeah.
the theater, and my sister is hopefully going to come over and babysit one of these next 2 nights. So
Sister. Hold on. Sister. I know there's you, and then there's Benny, your little brother.
Yes.
When did the sister happen?
Oh God, when did you move?
89.
Okay, yeah, she was like 3.
Okay.
But you see, because my mom's third husband, with whom I wanted absolutely nothing to do. So remember I was living at Grandma's.
Right. Yeah.
In Forest Park. I wasn't living with my mom and them, so I just which it took until I was an adult to realize exactly how big a deal that was, and especially now that I have kids, I'm like, wow, that's something.
You were a dick.
Yeah.
You were a dick. Still are.
The guy barely spoke English. I'm supposed to talk to this fucking prick?
Okay. Yeah, no, that's...
And I'm sorry,
you made the right choice.
History bore me out on this. Guy's a fucking prick. Guy's a piece of shit. My sister's better off without him.
Oh, yeah. So, I want to get another light on because I can barely read my notes. Ow! Your video's still screwed up.
No, it's not. I look handsome.
Just stop the video and restart it for me. Okay, now it stopped. And then it's coming back. And first there's an ad I have to fucking get through.
Tell me you want to see me.
Oh. Put the lotion on your skin.
Okay, no, I'm just...
There you are. Now you see, now you're fine.
See, now I'm dark on mine.
Yeah, but you're playing normal.
Okay.
What the fuck? Everybody and their uncle's trying to get a hold of me. So anyway, let's go here.
We're going.
We were going to do, I have a list of things here. We've already gone, I don't know how long. I really don't care how long.
15 minutes.
And a buddy of mine, Brian, I don't know if you ever met him or not. In fact, you did. Remember we drove up one time and you looked at me and went, Ken, as a friend I have to tell you, you stink. Because Brian and I had driven from, we did it in like 2 days or something from Phoenix to Chicago.
Was Brian, wait, was he
tall,
in
skinny?
service?
Yeah.
Yeah, Marine? Army?
Army.
He was trying to get people to marry him.
Yes! That's right.
People to marry him, and he said, and we'll split the pay bonus.
And then when it's done, we'll just get an annulment. Yeah, that was his was his little scam going there. Never found anybody. He's married now, but
Well, yeah, I'm
So,
assuming it's wholesome.
it's a legitimate marriage. It's not like one of those fake Russian marriages. So what
No,
I
you will marry me, and we will split
and
money.
then this will
This is
happen,
good.
and
This is good.
you'll probably be dead by the end of it. But hey, I have
But it will
vodka.
be fun. We
You
will
will
have
enjoy
fun.
it. You like spending money, and you will spend the money on me. So we've got Stanley. Stanley's cameo. Is there a Marvel movie? And I can think of Blade off the top of my head. Probably all
Uh huh.
three of them. But he's now doing it in the Marvel universe in those movies. He's making a cameo in all of them.
Yes.
Where was his cameo in this one?
In Civil War,
Yeah.
it's not until the end of the flick. He's a delivery man, and that's all I can tell you, because it's hysterical. I'm not telling you before you see the movie. You
Okay.
gotta see,
You're holding out in this one.
and you should go see it in a theater. You
I
deserve
will. I understand. So I had now was the Winter Soldier, and this is another question.
it.
Was the
Yes.
Winter Soldier a comic? Was he in the Marvel universe?
Oh yeah, absolutely. The Winter Soldier storyline is it was written by Ed Brubaker,
Oh wow.
and
Okay.
he said, he's like, hey, I want to bring back Bucky, and they're like, what are you knucking futz?
So explain in the comic what happened. Um, Bucky went away. Oh,
Right,
you have
because
on those headphones, by the way. You should have a little mute
yeah, I do
button.
have a little thing, but then the one time I used it, it started beeping, or there was a
Really?
hum after I did it.
Oh, because I'm hitting mine when I vape.
Oh, okay, cool.
I click.
I'll do that from here on in. Uh, so in the comics, Steve Rogers' origin was always that he and Bucky there was like a Nazi rocket that was being launched, and they were trying to stop it, and you're like,
I'm so fucking metal.
um, so there was a Nazi rocket, and they were riding the rocket trying to stop it, and they messed up the guidance system, so it wasn't going to make it where it was going. Um, that's my cat. I hate him.
Meow.
I can't wait for him to die.
My God, it's horrible.
It is horrible. He ruined our couch that we had down here.
Ugh. Kill
Anyway,
the fucker. So anyway, they're riding the rocket. They disable the.
they succeed in disabling it, but then there's an explosion. Bucky is killed, and Steve plunges into the ice.
Now, when
And
did this storyline take place?
this is Captain America's comic book origin.
Oh, so this is like the
His
40s.
Yeah. So
Oh,
so this is the end of because Captain America was big in World War II. Eventually, they just stopped producing the comics, and then when Stan Lee was rebooting everything at Marvel in the '60s, he brought Captain America into the Avengers. He wanted Captain America in the Avengers. He's like, let's bring back that character. I think he came in Avengers issue 4, somewhere around there,
okay.
and he's like, okay, so here's the story Stan came up with as to why Steve is now in the Avengers, because there was this mission, the thing exploded, Bucky was killed, and Steve plunged into the ice, and because of the super soldier serum, the ice just put him in suspended animation. They thawed him out. He is young. He is still vital. He is Captain America. He is leaving the Avengers.
Okay.
And so for years, for decades, Bucky was one of the few comic book deaths that was legit. Bucky was dead.
It happened in the late 40s and up until Brubaker got a hold of him.
Yes, and so
Wow.
Brubaker said, "I want to bring back Bucky," and people are like, "Are you fucking futz? How are you going to do that?" And he's like, "So they did a whole retcon because Bucky was always Cap's teen sidekick in the comics, and it was all fun and wholesome. What they did is Brubaker retconned the whole thing. Bucky went through the same training as Steve Rogers. He wasn't a super soldier, but he went through the same training, so they had the same moves. And
He went through this on the American side or on the Russian side?
no, on the American side, Russian stuff is much later. It's after. It's when he becomes Winter Soldier. But that's be patient.
You're getting there. I am.
I'm getting there.
Oh, okay.
Uh, so they introduced him to Steve, and Steve was like, "Oh, he's training with so and so as well. I thought I recognized the moves." And they're telling him, "Yeah." They're telling Steve Rogers, You are the symbol. You are the hero. You're the poster boy. Barnes is going to be the guy that does things that you can't. So Barnes is the guy that could play nasty. Barnes is the guy that could do commando shit behind the scenes, so Captain America doesn't necessarily get his hands dirty with it. That was the intention in the training.
Interesting.
And so we reveal that the same thing, they stick to, they're on this rocket and they're trying to stop it, but Bucky is not killed in the explosion. He loses his arm, and he's recovered by a Soviet submarine that was in the area. They take him, they completely brainwash him, they give him an artificial arm, and they turn him into the Winter Soldier. And they keep him in cryogenic storage on and off throughout the decades. They only thaw him out when they need him to do stuff, which is why he hasn't aged all that much. So he and Steve are still very similar ages. And
because, he would be like 70, 80 years old, like Steve is.
Yeah, he would be the same thing.
Well, there you go.
And the scene in Winter Soldier, the dialogue is exactly from the comic when Steve encounters the Winter Soldier, and he sees him from a bit of a distance, and they're separated, so he can't get to him and stop him or whatever. But Steve sees him and he says, "Bucky," and Winter Soldier looks and says, "Who the hell is Bucky?" and opens fire and gets away, whatever.
There you go.
And the story goes through there, and then we learn in the comics that he's been the Winter Soldier all through the Cold War. He's been this operative of the Russians, something they never really explain in the film. Why is he Russian?
The Russians caught him.
Well, right, but I don't think they were in Russia in the first Avenger, in the film, when Bucky went off the train.
No, they weren't. They were in Germany, because what happened, Russia was rushing in. Play on words, accidental. So Russia...
I did not see that.
Oh, there's another one. Because, Lavera had brought that up. She was like, why is the Russian accent and stuff? And I'm like, well, because the Russians are coming in from the east, Americans are coming in from the west, and what was going on with them when he fell off the train, the Soviets were in that area, apparently, and moving in that direction. Just, hey, we found this guy here. Let's do something with him.
Must have been.
It's the only thing I can think of.
It's a little weak.
Look at Hitler. Supposedly, Hitler pops himself in the noggin in an area that the Russians get to before the Americans do.
Well, yeah.
So that's why, Germany was split in half. Berlin was actually on the East German side, and it was split in half. We had to split everything up with them. So, fucking Russians. But that's what I need to know. So Ed Brubaker did this. When did he bring him back? What year? Yeah.
I don't remember the exact year.
So it was like 90s, 2000s?
Early 2000s.
Okay, interesting.
And it was around the same time that DC was bringing back Jason Todd, who was the Robin that was killed off in Death in the Family.
Oh, yeah.
So both of these things happened at the same time. Everyone insists that this is purely a coincidence. I don't know which one's the chicken and which one's the egg on that, but...
It's always done like that, though. If you look at certain things, like the movie A Bug's Life, and then all of a sudden, a couple weeks before, and then Ants comes out. Yeah. How many times have we seen it?
Deep Impact.
That was it. That was another one. So, and it's just the same thing, except in the comic book world. I have to wear these. I can't see small, tiny things anymore.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See, I don't wear mine to read. I am nearsighted. I need them to see anything more than 6 feet away.
I used to be nearsighted, and then about a year and a half ago or so, my vision kind of corrected itself. So I'm freaking out about it, and come to find out, as you get older, the lens of your eye is flexible. But as you get older, it hardens up. And then it kind of doesn't move. My night vision sucks. I can see better out of my right eye than my left eye. I brought this up to my parents. I'm like, I think I got a tumor or something. My mom's like, no, I have the exact same thing. Don't worry about it. I still think I have a tumor. Airport fight.
Yes.
I understand the Hulk and the Hulk and Thor weren't there. Maybe you went over that the last time, but it's in my notes.
Well, have you seen Age of Ultron?
No. Or Ant-Man. Or the second Thor movie.
Duck, man. Come on.
Hey, I've seen a Serbian film. I've seen Cannibal Holocaust. I've seen Salo. I've been watching kind of weird, fucked up.
A little bit.
Yeah, don't ever watch Serbian film.
I don't think I will. I mean, I might.
It's
Like on a dare or something.
we're watching Salo. I have a bunch of people over. We're watching Salo, also known as
I saw the Facebook posts.
right. And my brother at the time was
Did
going.
anyone actually puke?
I did. Yeah, no, it was me. Yeah, there was a scene where I just, for some reason, my stomach turned sideways, and that was it.
Oh,
But
for some reason you're still confused. The reason is you're a pussy.
well, if you'll never be able, if you ever see the movie, you will never be able to hear the word manja again.
Okay.
Because something happens, and obviously there's eating involved. You can kind of sort of take it from there. But as we're watching the movie, my brother goes, "Yeah, this is listed as number 2 on the most fucked up movies ever made list." I'm like, "This is number 2? What the fuck is number 1?"
Well, who's the big boy on that particular block?
He's like, "It's a movie called a Serbian film." I'm like, "All right, fine." My birthday's a couple months later. On Blu-ray, Jay bought me a Serbian film. And he went, "I'm probably on an NSA watch list, but here you go." So
it's called a Serbian film.
Yeah, it's a title, and it's famous for one scene. And you put it into the Google, they don't really show the scene. They show leading up to the scene. You hear the scene, you see people's reactions, but you know right in the fuck is going on. And let me tell you what. Who thought of that? A Serbian. Anyway, Hulk and Thor, not in the fight scene.
Right, because in Age of Ultron, they both leave at the end of Age of Ultron. Thor leaves Earth looking for answers about the Infinity Stones.
Okay.
4 of which have come up in the last couple years, and that's unusual because they're not supposed to be together. And the Hulk, well, you saw the trailer for Age of Ultron where he was fighting the Hulkbuster, Iron Man.
Yeah.
Suit. It's because the Hulk was on a rampage. The Hulk was out of control, and so.
Oh, really?
And because of that, he came in. He was part of things at the end, and he helped stop Ultron and all that. But he didn't trust himself, so he. Are
they going to Grey Hulk him? Turn him into Mr. Fix-It?
I don't think so. That doesn't seem to be their plan.
That'd be so awesome.
Mr. Fix-It was awesome.
Yeah.
But, my favorite was just that. Because they were doing the day-night thing, and my favorite was Grey Hulk when the sun was coming up, and he was going to turn because he was turning into the Hulk at night, and he was Banner during the day. When dawn was approaching, he would go out into the desert and just leap to the top of a tall mountain.
Just fuck Banner over.
Just to fuck Banner, so that Banner spent the day walking down the mountain, and then come nightfall, he's the Hulk again, and he's like, "Yeah, fuck you, Banner. This is my show."
Wow.
Yeah.
Now, I was listening to another podcast that it kind of brought those things up. It's called Geek Show. It's a fucking great podcast.
I've heard of it.
You gotta listen to it every Sunday. I wait for Sundays, and I'm like, "Oh, new Geek Show." They said in there is a line. "You're wrong, but you know you're right." In Civil War. Somebody came up to Steve, to Captain America.
Okay.
I guess that was a line in the movie. I wrote it down for some reason because they were talking about it.
Okay.
You don't remember that line? You remember everything.
Which is why I'm questioning whether or not it's actually there.
Think about that one. Cook on it.
Yeah.
I have something in here. Geeks are now cool. Because back in the day when we were growing up, any of this shit that we're talking about now, nobody was into it.
Yeah. Okay, here's the thing.
We won.
We didn't win. That's the thing. It's a cruel joke. Geeks are not actually cool. We're still geeks. The thing is, we're not ostracized anymore. Don't get me wrong. We've made great progress. But the hot chicks that
Nerds,
don't flock to us in
nerds are not cool. Geeks are. Hot chicks do run to us in droves. In fact, hot chicks have morphed themselves into us.
Yeah, there's some of that.
There's a lot of that. I call them attention whores, but
they just use us to explain Game of Thrones to them. That's really what's happening.
But look at me, like I fix computers. I remember buying a computer, and Danny Schwandelich, he and I were driving home or riding our bikes home from our job caddying, and he was like, "Well, you bought a computer? Were you trying to be a doctor or something?" And I was like, "No, I just like computers." He's like, "Whatever, you nerd. You'll never fucking do anything for me," or like kind of like being a dick to me. And now here we are, 30 years later, and it's like, "Hey, how's are you having a little problem there with a bunch of pop-ups and stuff, buddy? Mm-hmm. Hey, you want those to go away? Pay me. You want that to happen? Fuck you, pay me." It's great. It's fucking great.
Yeah.
No, it's like,
he was kind of a little prick.
Yeah, he was. We're just saying names. I love it. I don't fucking care. So, Watchmen is what I have next, and since you haven't watched the extended part of it yet, at least we can get into, before we started recording, you were really going off on Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
A lot. Now, I think what I have here. So let's go with the whole Snyder sucks thing. You don't like that, so you don't like him. Thinks he sucks. But what about the movie 300? Because 300 was it. 300 was awesome.
It's a great flick. My thing with Zack Snyder, everything he does, there's one scene. There's at least one. There's not just one anymore, but there's always been at least one thing that shows that he doesn't really get it as much as he likes to think he does. And he's conned the people at Warner Brothers into handing him the keys to their should have been $1 billion franchise, and it's not. Oh, Civil War, by the way, has crushed Batman v Superman at the box office.
Whoopsie fucking do.
In less than 2 weeks.
You've seen the picture or the video of Affleck and Caviezel in an interview, and the guys, whoever it is, ask him a question, and Affleck's just like...
The sad Affleck?
Yeah, the whole time, just not even moving.
Like 300, I love 300. Great flick. There's just one thing that bugs me. Because, the messenger comes in, tells the Spartans, and,
you said this last time, where he has to look over for approval from the wife.
Yeah, looks over for... Fuck that shit. King Leonidas doesn't do that. Okay, that's my problem there. And I remember when the Watchmen movie was coming out, and there was an interview with Zack Snyder in Entertainment Weekly, and I remember the writer the writer was going, meets Zack Snyder in his office where he's leafing through the absolute edition of Watchmen.
Mm-hmm.
And I read it and thought nothing of it. But now I think back and I'm like, wait a minute. This fucking poser had to make sure he had the book there for his interview just to say, "Oh, yeah, see?
I read it.
I'm the comic guy. That's who I am."
Well, the thing is, that was originally released as a monthly book, if I remember right.
Yes, it was a 12-issue limited series.
There you go. It was a comic book, not a fucking graphic novel, because I hate that. Oh, it's based off the graphic novel. Fuck your mother, it's a fucking comic book. People just don't want to say comic book.
They don't. I don't have as big a problem with it anymore, as long as you're referring to a trade. As long as you're referring to... They don't call them TV...
Yeah, they don't call them that anymore.
Yeah. And with Watchmen, it's better for... Because, if you're reading The Winter Soldier, you're reading a trade paperback. Because that's collecting Captain America 427 to 4 whatever. I don't know the exact...
Apparently, that's not a word that's used anymore.
Yeah, it's they're all graphic novels. It's a strike for legitimacy, but it doesn't bother me because when you think of it, comic is itself a bit of a misnomer nowadays. They're not the funnies. anymore.
No.
It's sequential storytelling, so I'm okay with it, especially in the case of Watchmen because it is a self-contained story. I just criticized Zack Snyder for having to have the book there when he was talking about it, and here, look what I'm doing. So,
Poser.
yeah, I'm in my glass house just chucking bricks any which way.
Well, and that was Alan Moore wrote that.
Yes.
He also wrote V for Vendetta, which is the book I used to read. Every
Yes.
Christmas, for some weird reason, for years, every Christmas I would listen to Pink Floyd's The Wall and read V for Vendetta. Then the movie came out, and I'm like, wow, this is just was Wachowski's going, fuck you, George Bush, and we're showing a bunch of Iraq War stuff, and this is current, this is topical stuff. It's not going to hold up in 20 years. You can't do jokes or references politically or whatever. For the times, yeah, you're going to get it then, but in 20 years, you're not going to.
V for Vendetta, I thought it was going to be so great. I
I
really,
know.
really did.
It had its
And
moments.
it did. And I really enjoyed the ending. I really enjoyed what they did with the ending where the whole crowd had the Guy Fawkes masks and they descended it. I thought that was a cool way to go with the
Yeah.
story because even Alan Moore in the introduction to the trade paperback of V
Thank
for
you.
Vendetta, he writes about how the story was written from a bit of a naive place. He wasn't as worldly as he became later. The setting for V for Vendetta it was after a limited nuclear exchange, and so the world was changed by that. And he's like, I didn't realize at the time that there's not really that. There's almost no such thing as a
Limited.
nuclear exchange.
Well,
Like shit's gonna get fucked up.
because remember when Ellie was a little girl, she said she was telling V the story about how her mother told her there are no more giraffes.
Right, right, exactly.
So, like, I was like, the world is fucked
And the movie-
everywhere.
oh God, the V for Vendetta is such a disappointment as a film, and yet I own the movie poster. I'm probably going to frame the movie poster and put it down here in my basement somewhere, just because the movie poster has the original release date. Do you remember what the release date for V for Vendetta was supposed to be?
Was it 11/5, like 2006
It
or
was
something?
the 5th of November.
Yeah.
And that's what's on the poster that I have. But then for some reason they pushed it back a week. And it opened on November 12th. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? You could
Studios.
have opened on the 5th of November. I mean, were they trying to say, oh, wait, are we endorsing Guy Fawkes and terrorism? I don't know what the fuck they were doing.
Fucking studios. That's what
And
it
seriously,
is.
V for Vendetta, it was V Light. They took all the really demented shit that he did and got rid of it. Because I remember when he
Oh, like when he was in prison, when he was locked up and getting experimented on? See, I haven't seen the movie in a long fucking time, so.
neither have I. But the main thing I always cling to is when a scene, because he takes out like the bishop or whatever high church official is in England at the time. I don't know if it's their bishop or whatever. And the police are listening to the audio because the place was wired, so they can hear what happened. And V is taunting the guy with the host, with the communion wafer. And he's telling him, and he's like, so this becomes the body of Christ when you eat it. And the guy's like, yeah, that's how it works. And he's like, no matter what it is now. And he's like, yes, it transmutes into the body of Christ. So he, gives him his communion. And then you cut to the cop looking at the lab report saying, yeah, the host was loaded with cyanide.
Why so
And-
bitter, Almond?
And when it got to his stomach, it was still cyanide. So that's why he's dead. They cut all that shit.
Which is, remember, Almond was the one cop?
Yeah.
And he had a thing for killing cyanide, and it was like, you sound bitter, Almond. And I was always like, that's fucking funny. Because in case you don't know, cyanide supposedly smells like bitter
Yes.
almonds.
Cyanide, you have to test for it specifically. And coroners, if they suspect it, they'll, sniff for scent to know whether to test for
And
that.
then they fucking suit up. I know one of my friends who's a mortician, had told me all about it. He's like, no, it's a heavy metal. I'm like, hell yeah! He's like, no, this one fucks you up. If we get a call and it's a cyanide suicide, we got to go in full gear because that shit will just fucking ruin your day.
No shit.
Oh yeah, apparently
Like
it's
even
like
just being around it.
touching it apparently kills you, and that is from. Now I'd heard that, always had heard that, but then there's the Iceman. He was a serial killer,
Right.
but who
I've
also
heard
was
of
a
it.
mob hitman. Yeah, he was pretty.
Right.
It was interesting, and he used to kill people with cyanide. And I think one of the ways he did it was maybe I poured in a drink. Either way, don't touch cyanide ever.
Don't
Yeah, keep that.
touch.
That's a note. If you run into it, but you don't
That
know unless it smells like bitter almonds, and you're like, oh wait a minute, there might be cyanide around here. I'm trying to look here. So Alan Moore was born in 1953, and I'm trying to see what year the comic book, not the graphic novel, date September of '88. So he was 35 when he wrote it. Well, when it was published, so he was probably in his early 30s when he wrote it.
Okay.
Yeah, September of '89 to May, or September of '88 to May of '89, because it ended just before I moved, because we moved in June of '89. That would make sense.
It would.
So okay, so we're kind of going over the Watchmen, which I
A
still
little bit.
think. How can you not? Okay, so 300. You didn't like the whole thing with King Leonidas. I'm going to research that, by the
But
way.
that
What
was
the
a minor
fucking?
thing. I still love the 300 movie. That was his Dawn of the Dead remake
Oh,
is
that was the
fantastic.
first one, yeah.
Yeah.
But in 300, the things I took umbrage with were just like having the big monster guys coming out.
Yeah.
It was
Didn't
kind of like, eh.
didn't need that.
Um, but other than that, that
Well,
was
it's
good.
because Lord of the Rings was big at the time, so they were trying to do more to give it like the fantasy flavor. That's
That makes
that's what you had
sense.
going on there.
That makes sense. So Watchmen, I've only watched. So our assignment was to watch Watchmen before we did this. We've had 2 weeks, and neither one of us really came
I
through.
purpose did it. I have seen the film. I did see it in theaters. I
You've
have
only
seen it
watched. How many times have you seen it?
maybe a couple. Wait, the whole flick? Maybe a couple. The scene where Malin Ackerman gets all kinds of naked. Yeah, a few dozen. A few dozen. That's
You have to analyze the shots and the
It's worth the
lighting.
price of admission right there. But but you know
Uh,
what? Seriously, the flick Watchmen is a bit of a special hell for me.
Really?
Because,
Fuck
because
you.
no. Hang on. I'll explain why.
All right.
Because I am one of the many people I don't think it should have even been attempted. Uh, Watchmen is, for my money, the greatest comic story ever. It is a full mastery of the medium. You've got the writer and artist working in perfect synergy. This thing is detailed, it is layered. I read it at least annually. And I
Right.
swear, I almost always see at least a little something new, a little something I didn't notice before. And I mean read it. I don't skip the stuff between issues. I don't skip the
You get
the
into the
prose
black. You
text.
get into the
Yeah,
black pirate stuff.
exactly. And so I love it. If you were going to adapt it to live action, it should have you should have gone to HBO, made a 10 or 12 part miniseries so you could do a true adaptation of it.
Yeah,
I don't
like Preacher should be.
Yes, exactly.
When did
I
that come
don't
out? That's this month.
I think it's soon. There's a lot more press about it, so it's soon, but I dumped cable. So I'll check out the DVDs at some point and I'll see what's what.
Cody.
Or Cody.
Yeah.
Or Cody. And but so I don't believe Watchmen should have been made into a movie. But given that it was gonna be a movie because Warner Brothers was going to make it into a movie, that's the undisputed. I am glad that we got Zack Snyder's movie, which sucks for me because I hate him. But
Could have gotten Tim Burton.
could have gotten Tim Burton. But have you ever heard about the shit the studio was going to do to it? Have you ever heard about what
Af-
they were developing?
After hearing Kevin Smith talk about and then watching the documentary about Superman Returns, I
Uh-huh.
can only imagine. But no, I have not heard.
They were, and for this, I am eternally grateful to Zack Snyder. He sat in a meeting and they're like, we've got Watchmen. We're going to update it. We're going to modernize it. It's going to be in present day. It's going to be about the war on terror and all this bullshit. And as he told the story, at least, he's sitting there, he's smiling and nodding. Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yes.
Walks out of the meeting. Yeah, fuck that. Guys, we're not doing that. Just adapt the comic.
Yeah.
And that's what they did. So I'm grateful for that. And credit where it's due. Okay, couple things. Credit where it's due. The guy can frame up a shot. Visually, the guy has an eye like you would believe. He kind of leeches all the color out of things. So I'm not sure if he's the guy to adapt four color comics, but
Well,
he's kind of jihad against too many colors. But his visuals are great, and that opening sequence of Watchmen is fucking brilliant.
which I watched today and took notes on, and I'm going. I love the movie as a whole, but again, it's been a while since I've seen it, so I'm like, okay, I'm just going to watch this part as much time as I have right now. But first, I went 12 minutes up to the part where Rorschach finds the smiley face, the button
Okay.
on the ground, and picks it up. And then, like, somebody else starts talking, and I stopped it right there, and it was right around 12 minutes into the flick. Nailed it. I mean, that opening scene through the glass when the fucking comedian's being thrown through the glass. I'm like, that's the fucking comic.
Yep. But also just the montage of taking you through the decades.
The
That is
times they are a changing.
that is brilliant. The film doesn't reach that level of brilliance
When
ever
you
again.
watch the extra features, there's a timeline that is like kind of like, okay, here's our timeline, but here's the Watchmen timeline, and it shows different major events and how there's like a break, and it's like, well, we did this, but in the Watchmen universe, it kind of went this way. Like Nixon gets elected for a third term.
Yeah.
I don't know if Kennedy even got killed. They kind of
Uh,
they kind of gloss over that a little.
no, Kennedy was killed. It's something they changed for the flick
It
because,
was a comedian who killed him.
but not in the comic.
Really?
Uh, because he's telling a funny story at a dinner party. Uh, wait, do I have that right?
Ah.
I think he was saying that he didn't kill Kennedy, but he had nothing to do with Woodward and Bernstein or something like that,
Oh, okay. So Watergate.
or he had nothing to do with Kennedy. I don't know.
Well, they show him in the opening sequence when
Yeah,
Kennedy
they
gets
showed him
killed.
on the grassy knoll.
Yeah, standing up with the sniper rifle. So I did that Kennedy assassination. Have you seen the show 11/22/63? It's a Netflix or Hulu original.
I watched the first couple of episodes. Um,
It ends. It's kind of one of those where you can. I bet you it's going to end like this, and you kind of guess it, but it's just so. It's got a little extra, a little something else. It's fucking good.
yeah,
I
I'm
suggest it.
torn on. I'm torn on whether I want to read the book because I was really digging the show, but I don't know.
Well, Stephen King. Have you read any Stephen King?
Yes, I've read a bunch. Oddly enough, never read The Shining. I have to read The Shining so I
I
can read Doctor Sleep.
I picked oh man. So The Shining I picked up on audiobook and started listening to it.
Oh wait, no, hang on. Sorry. They do hint that the comedian killed JFK because they
Ah,
talk about Woodward and Bernstein were found dead in a garage, and people are yelling conspiracy, and comedians like, nah, I'm clean, guys. Just don't ask where I was when I heard about JFK. So yeah,
there you go.
that's
Oh, you referenced it right there in the book.
yep.
There you go. Points of contact.
I can find stuff pretty quick.
So where
Stephen
was
King.
I? Yeah. Never read The Shining, just as you. I did buy it on audiobook. However, I didn't know there was. Yeah, Doctor Sleep is a follow up for that.
Right.
That's Danny's older. So again, that's why I'd want to kind of read that through. But apparently, the Talisman he co-wrote that with Peter Straub. I've read that book 2 or 3 times. The Talisman's fucking kick ass. But apparently there is a sequel to that as well.
Oh.
Ah. Now, as far as Stephen King goes, when you're like, well, I want to read 1123 or 112263, and asking, have you read King? King is a boring fucking writer, and then you have to go sometimes half, sometimes 2/3 through a fucking book before shit kind of starts going crazy. Other times stuff starts
and that
off.
was fine when the books were this thick, but now they're this thick.
Dude, I read.
And it's like, dude,
I read it when I was in 7th grade, and it was 1,200 pages.
yes. Have you read Joe Hill's stuff? His son, not the guy who killed Batman's parents. That's Joe Chill.
That's Joe Chill.
Have you read any of Joe Hill's stuff?
No.
Oh,
That's Stephen King's son? What?
that is Stephen King's son.
Why is his last name Hill?
I don't know if it's his mother's maiden name or what.
He
but
probably didn't want to be associated.
Yeah. And, okay, seriously. You look at the picture on the back of the book, it's like, dude, who are you kidding? he is Stephen King 30 years ago. I think Stephen King might have cloned himself and had his wife just carry it. That's how much the kid looks like his dad. But he is fucking fantastic.
I'm writing this down.
Write down all caps, Horns by Joe Hill.
Okay.
Book will knock your socks off.
So it's one book. It's not a book series.
One book, not overly long, and shit fucking moves, man. It's fucking... That book will knock your socks off. It plays with ideas. It is... You can watch the trailer for the movie, but don't watch the movie before you read the book.
Oh, there's a movie.
There's a movie. Daniel Radcliffe. Harry Potter is the main guy. This guy wakes up, and he's got horns growing out of his head. And...
Shut up. Shut up. I'm done.
Okay.
You know how I'm all about, I don't care about spoilers and stuff? This one, I don't want to know anything about it.
Excellent.
Moon. The deal with the movie Moon. A buddy of mine, Jerry, who knows everything about the movie The Thing imaginable, calls me up one day and goes, watch a movie called Moon. It's got Rockwell in it.
I love that movie.
I go, what's it about? He goes, I can't tell you. I go, really? He goes, telling you anything about the movie will fucking ruin it. Just watch. Trust me, watch this movie. And I'm taking it from that aspect. I'm like, you're telling me this is great, this is awesome, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, I'll find out.
Like, seriously, you read Horn. Tell me, you know what? Tell me if you get Horns and start reading it, tell me so I can reread it, and I'll meet you right back here.
Ooh.
And we'll talk about all that shit, because it's a great fucking book. And then he's got a book called Nosferatu, but it's a license plate. NOS4A2. It's the license plate of this demon car.
Because NOS is nitrous oxide, NO2, and people will put tanks of that in their engine, and then in the driver's seat you have a button, you hit that, and it shoots nitrous oxide it mixes with the air, and makes your car boom and goes super fast.
Oh yeah, I knew that, but I never put it together because that makes sense. Because there's a little thing with gas tanks in the book, so it's wow, I hadn't considered that.
NOS nitrous oxide for you too. Is that what it is?
It's for 4A2. Nosferatu. I'm pretty sure that's how it's spelled.
NOS 4A2.
A2. But read Horns first. It's shorter, and but also I haven't read Heart Shaped Box yet, but I've heard very good.
I heard the song.
I don't think it's related.
Well, it was probably written after Courtney killed Kurt.
It's probably influenced by that, but it's not one's not about the other.
I still think Courtney killed Kurt, or had him killed.
I still don't give a shit.
Yeah,
Either of those people.
I know.
Love Foo Fighters.
Holy shit! Yeah. Yeah, they did. They did. They redid the song Baker Street.
Okay.
Fucking amazing.
Did you see the video on YouTube of like 100 people playing "Learn to Fly"?
No.
Oh my God! It's
Well,
like this town in Italy. Because I don't know if the Foo Fighters have never played Italy or they've never been to this particular town, but this guy organized this thing. Pardon me. This guy organized. He got 100 musicians. There's like a dozen drum kits, 20 guitarists, and like at least 50 people singing. And they're all there's a conductor keeping everyone straight. It's on YouTube. Just you,
I wrote it down. Notes. I take
yeah,
notes.
yeah. You gotta check that out. It's seriously, it's fucking magic. It is awesome. And the whole thing is, they're telling them, dude, come here. We are dying to see you. And Dave Grohl, like the day after this came out, and he was like, okay, yeah, we're on our way. We'll be playing.
We'll be there in a minute.
Because how do you, especially that guy, he is not going to say, that is exactly how you get Dave Grohl to play your town. 'Cause
Yeah.
this, they didn't have funding. This was 100 people paying to transport their own drum kit and everything to come and play. It was fucking awesome.
So I know a guy who does a website, cockeyed.com. It's run by Robert Cockerham. And I've actually...
Guy?
Cockeyed.com.
Oh, cockeyed. I thought you said
Yeah.
cock guy, and I'm like, what are you
He's
trying to get
not
me
a
to
well,
consider?
no. He's crazy. He's one of the most insane people on the internet. Him and his friend sat down one time with a bottle of Goldschlager and filtered out all the gold to figure out how much was in it. They've done things like they'll buy a bottle of mustard and go, well, if you get a hot dog and cover it as like in this pattern with mustard, how many hot dogs can you get out of this bottle of mustard?
The burning questions that I want answers to.
Yeah, he'll get like a big, huge thing of mixed nuts. Okay, let's separate all the nuts. And then do a graph and a pie chart.
Mostly
And then,
peanuts, right?
yeah, I think it was like peanuts, walnuts,
You
cashews.
you get like 5% cashews.
It was, yeah, it's,
Cashews are what everyone wants.
I know.
I
And-
skip the middleman. I just get a jug of cashews. Just fucking plow through that.
Done. I like the macadamias personally, but that's because Higgins was in those commercials.
That's legit.
Did I lose you?
No.
Okay, because Higgins, Magnum PI,
Yes.
filmed in Hawaii.
Yes.
Macadamias are from Hawaii. He did macadamia nut commercials in the 80s.
You.
It all came around. So cockeyed.com is awesome. He's out of Sacramento. I have friends that live in Sacramento. And I hit him up one day. I was like, dude, listen, I'm going to be up there. Do you want to, I'll buy if you want to go out to eat. He was like, yeah. Unfortunately, we picked a place that was louder than fuck. I could barely hear him talk. But I've met him. I have a picture with him. And as we're talking, I was like, you were on MTV? He goes, yeah, there was a Foo Fighters weekend. And they flew me out to New York. And David Grohl apparently reads my website. So he did all this stuff with the Foo Fighters. One of the things he did was figure out the surface area of David Grohl. Yeah. So he covered David Grohl in aluminum foil, and he cut off the pieces, and that's how he figured out what his surface area was.
Wow.
Robert Cockerham is one of the most insane people on the
Yeah.
internet.
I
Yeah.
put on some weight over the kids' spring break because there was a lot of junk food, so I don't want anyone to figure out my surface area right now.
I'm
If
vaping
you're
now.
going
And
to figure out my surface area, give me like a month to take just a little of this off.
Yeah, that's my problem with the vaping. I'm vaping now instead of smoking. Been doing it for about a month, and yeah, smoking is gone. Don't even fucking care about smoking anymore. Fuck that, it stinks. Blah blah blah. And I want to win the lottery, and everybody I see smoking go, do me a favor, use this. Just try it. If you don't like it, fucking A, give it away, sell it. I don't fucking care. Try this. It works for me. It works. A lot of people I know it works.
Cool.
But now I'm eating. I'm eating. There's food. I forgot how great. I mean, I know how great food is, but I'll eat something and be like, I want more of this. Holy shit! This cheese, this fucking bullshit Kraft macaroni and cheese, tastes like manna from God. You mix in some fucking tuna with it, salt it up, a little bit of lemon pepper or whatever. Oh, it's bad. So I gotta. Yeah, I bought batteries for this scale, and I've installed the
God.
batteries. Haven't
Oh,
stood
I don't own a scale. I don't need to know.
there. Yeah,
Why do that to yourself?
it's
The thing is, how do my clothes fit? How do I feel? Because I bought a new pair of pants, and I'm like for work, and I'm like, oh, these other pants were growing with me because the new pants are awful. They're a little not awful. They're a little
no
snug, a little
snug.
snug. And I can't blame the dryer because they're new. They're not the pants that I've been drying regularly for months. So I'm like, okay, yeah, I put on a little weight.
But I notice where like after I get stuff out of the dryer, like I have several shorts, put them on, feel great. You give me like maybe a half hour, I can twist myself just right and they'll fall off. Like they stretch out within that amount of time.
Wow.
Yeah, it's funny because I do it around here. I'll be like, oh, I don't need a belt. This is great. Oh, look, they just fell off. So I go through belts like crazy. Hey, so Watchmen again, real quick, because
Yes.
we keep deviating, but
We deviate.
this is
We're
what we do.
deviants.
Times Square, the classic kiss in Times Square when the Japs surrendered during World War II.
Yes.
Hot chick, black hair, grabs the nurse and makes out with her. Who is that chick?
That was Silhouette?
And that's what I was going to ask. I don't because she gets killed. And this is another note I have where she gets killed with another girl, and it says lesbian whores written in their blood.
Yes.
Silhouette was her name.
I think so. She might have been one of the Minutemen.
Yeah, because it was in the 40s. Because I wrote that down because I'm like, who the fuck is this? I don't fucking remember. So, Silhouette. All right, Kennedy assassination. We went over the moon landing, where again, opening shot, you see Armstrong or whoever it is on the moon turning around in a reflection of Dr. Manhattan.
Yes.
What do you think about the handling of Dr. Manhattan in the movie versus the comic?
Dr. Manhattan, they did right by. They did right by Dr. Manhattan. I thought the casting was great. I love Billy Crudup.
So, well, and which goes right along with him. What's his nuts play Rorschach?
Yes, and you see that's
Fucking nailed that.
yes, but there wasn't enough. You know.
Yeah.
You know, there's a sliding scale here. You've only got like even 3 hours to tell that story. Something's got to go. Something's got to get cut. And you know, they Dr. Manhattan and Rorschach both. There were issues that focused primarily on them, but Dr. Manhattan's story was also the story of this universe, and there was him interacting with the comedian. And this is in the comic, you know. So Dr. Manhattan's story was more central to the overall plot of the film. You know, it took you through a lot of the history that's gone on.
Well, it was predominantly his thing was humanity doesn't matter. I can see everything that's going on all at once throughout the universe, and you're just people. And it wasn't until the end where he realized, no, you're all unique. Like, each one of you is not... Biologically, You're all the same. You're made up of the same shit, but you all have...
But that one particular sperm
different.
had to meet that one particular egg.
At that one particular time, moment, yeah.
So each of you are a hydrodynamic miracle, something like that. Is something he said. But so Dr. Manhattan, they did right by because they told his whole story. You know, they told his story pretty well because it fit in with the thing. But if you remember the comic, it's issue 5 is where Rorschach is apprehended.
I never read the individuals. I didn't read it until the trade came out. V for Vendetta, I think I still may even have my originals.
Okay.
But anyway, so it was, episode 5. Yeah, it was about halfway through the book.
Okay, well, one, did you know then that issue 5 is completely symmetrical?
You mean it's like a 6-panel, 8-panel?
Like the colors complement, but okay.
Show us. Give us some examples.
Let's see.
The girl just put a new vape top on my vape, and I'm like, It's an Aspire, and so I'm testing that out, and it's fucking awesome.
Okay. It's not going to show up great, but this is the first page. This here is the last page of that issue. It's hard to tell, but the colors match up. The issue.
Go back to the first page.
Okay, wait. Shit, I lost it. This is the first page. Can you see that okay?
So we got red, blue, yellow, blue, red, green, red, green, red. Okay.
Okay. So now at the end, when he's being taken into custody,
red, can't really tell. Red. There's no yellow.
But as you go through, like on page 2 of the book, the middle panel it's mostly in the colors. But here's the big thing: there, in the exact middle of this issue, this is the issue when there's the assassination attempt on Veidt, and he takes the thing and he clobbers the guy with the stand that holds the velvet rope. If you look at that, and like the exact middle of it.
Oh yeah, it splits. That's when it flips over.
Yeah, and that's where it all lays out. And if you work out from there, you can see it's all completely symmetrical.
I'm surprised Rob Liefeld hasn't ripped that off yet.
Yeah, that motherfucker. But
fuck you, Rob.
Oh, did you ever hear about Agent America?
I think you told me about it once.
Because there was
Tell the story.
There was the Heroes Reborn thing.
Oh yeah.
Wait, who was the other one?
Because it was Captain America and Agent and Heroes Reborn. I remember when he stopped doing it and somebody else took it over. He was like, "Let me take this stupid A off my head."
Yeah, and God, so Rob Liefeld was doing the Heroes Reborn thing,
right?
And they stopped it because it was a shit book and it wasn't selling. So then he tried to get the rights to, because the creators of Captain America, when they had a falling out with, I think, Marvel back in the day, they created Fighting American, and he had a shield, and it was very similar to Captain America. So Rob Liefeld tried to buy that so he could tell the rest of his Captain America stories as a screw you to Marvel, and tried to buy that character, but he couldn't, in the negotiations, they couldn't land on a price that he liked. So he created Agent America with a shield, and it's like, dude, you're not even trying.
Yeah. You phoned this one in.
So they did get to make it, but there was a lawsuit, and they couldn't be too similar to Captain America. One of the main things was Agent America could not throw his shield. That could not be done because that would have been too similar to Captain America. Which, now, I've found Marvel overly litigious at times, but that's legit. I'm on their side on that one. That's bullshit. Anyway.
What if you gave him a shield launcher? What if he had the shield attached to his forearm that he would hold up, and then he'd go like this, and there was a thing that would shoot the shield out?
Okay, but then he has to go and, like, retrieve it. It can't bounce perfectly off of 3 walls and land right back on the launcher.
So what if his shield has, like, a sharp points on it or something, so when he shoots it at someone, it sticks in him? And, oh, you know what? He could have a fucking, like, a cable attached to it, hit another button, and the thing could, like, bam! And then he could use that cable also to, like, decapitate people and shit.
So...
All right.
So he'd be like Captain America, but with a giant killer yo-yo.
A yo-yo. That's exactly what it would be like. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
In fact, not even making a fucking shield. They have the shield just be a yo-yo. Like, he puts it on his finger. He has, like, a certain ring, like a Green Lantern ring or something.
I'd buy that book.
And go bam and throw it out, and then use the ring to. Yeah. I'm spitballing here. I'm actually trying to defend. I'm trying to defend Rob. I'm sure I could make it work.
Pick a side, man. Whose side are you on?
I'm not on Life. Well, so I own a piece of artwork by a guy named Joe Weeks,
Okay.
He was an inker for Top Cow. Met the guy. He's our age, dude. He's like our age, but he made it. Like I'm
Yep.
talking to him, and he's like, I can't. He goes, at one point in my life, I'm going, I can't believe I'm inking stuff for Mark Silvestri, a guy I was reading comics that he did back when I was in high school. And I went, wait a minute, I was in high school when Silvestri was doing books. How old are you? And he's like, I'm about to be 40. And I was like, dude, I just turned 40. What the fuck? You went through with it. I decided to not. Because it was go to school and continue studying art, or the comic book store I was working at went, how would you like to be a manager of one of our locations? Fuck, who needs college? Blink! Boom, let's go sell comics.
Yep. I slept through my 20s. I really should have
And
kept drawing.
it's, well, you know, it's easy. Awesome guy, really fucking cool guy. And that's as we're talking and we're bashing on Liefeld. I go, you know, that's when I realized being an inker. I've tried it. Inking is a bitch, and I've gotten way better at it. But inking can be it is a bitch. It's one of the toughest things to do. Although people are like, you're just a tracer. But when you're dealing
Mother's
with,
a tracer.
oh, fucking trace your ass. So
I'll trace a chalk line around your dead fucking body.
Chasing Amy, I assume, which I've
Yeah.
seen once. I gotta watch it again. But I was like, yeah, you know, inkers can totally fix things. Scott Williams is one of the best out there. Look what he did with What If #7. What if Wolverine became an agent of Shield, penciled by Liefeld, and that book looks amazing. And he's like, yeah, because fuck Liefeld, he fucking sucks, and you're correct. Inkers can fix everything. Scott Williams, hands down, is one of the best. And I was like, oh, we both have a similar output on life. Cool.
You know what? Look up on YouTube for the Justice League animated movie. They did one called War. There on the disc was a special feature. It was just a showcase of the art of Jim Lee.
Mm-hmm.
Look up Justice League War art of Jim Lee on YouTube, and it'll probably come up. And it's just a whole documentary about Jim Lee and his career and everything. And they talked to Scott Williams for a while. And
I don't even know what he looks like. I've never even seen a picture of Scott Williams.
boring white dude. Brian Stelfreeze. He's black. Never knew that.
Who's Brand Selfries?
He did covers for Shadow of the Bat back in the day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Those painted ones?
Yes.
I think those are the ones I'm thinking of.
I think so. And he's working on the new Black Panther book. And so I saw a picture and I'm like, "Oh dude, that dude's black. I had no idea."
He didn't draw black.
I know, right?
My old roommate, black dude, Ian McMillan. You hear that name, you wouldn't even think, you think of some Irish, Scottish, whatever guy. And so we're working at the shop together. People would call up, hey, do you have X, Y, and Z? He's like, hey, we got a copy of it. Can you hold on to it? They would come in, and he'd be like, oh, yeah, I talked to you on the phone. Here's your book. And inevitably, so many people, you didn't sound black. He's like, what the fuck? What the fuck does that mean? Fuck you! I didn't know you were African American. He's like, I'm not. I'm from fucking Louisiana. I'm a fucking American. Fuck you.
I love
Piss him off every
God.
fucking time.
I love being with the kids by myself and making reference to them being half Mexican. And then just having people go, "Oh, your wife is Mexican?" Nope. Try again.
Oh, fuck.
Try again on that one.
Because I don't think anybody, if anybody does watch this or listen to it or whatever, I mean, I call you Leonard Show. That's not your real name. That's like,
It is not
that's your first name, your nickname.
my nickname.
It's
my
your
full name is very Mexican.
Oh,
It's actually
fuck
very
yeah.
Italian, but
I guess, well,
Florencio is originally Italian. It's an Italian name.
I'm working at CompUSA one time. Two guys came in. They were looking at computers, and I was like, what are your names? And one guy's like, hey, I'm Joe. I'm like, how you doing? The other guy goes, hey, my name's Florencio. And I go, oh, wow, does your family call you a Luncho? He goes, yeah, they do. How do you know that? His buddy Joe goes, what? I've known you 20 years. I've never heard that name. I'm like going, it's apparently in the Hispanic culture, that's like a common nickname.
It's like how you get Dick out of Richard.
Yeah, it's like how you get Cheech out of Francisco.
Or okay.
Don't you? I think you do. I know
Is that
I know
Is that
Francisco.
where Cheech comes from?
I've been, I had
I
another group of Mexicans that I'm friends with have told
I
me
know
this.
Chewy is from Jesus, but
Really?
I don't know how the fuck that works
How?
either.
Chewy is from Jesus.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to call up. Well, I don't have to call up any Mexicans. I know you, but you're not really Mexican.
I'm not really Mexican.
No, you're.
I am so not. Okay, like oh my god,
It's like, oh well. I mean, not. I don't even look at. I just
Like
the name is there.
technically, but in practice, like not really.
And even the food. I mean, like I'd prefer a hamburger over like an enchilada or tostada
I,
or whatever those. I can't even pronounce it.
I do like a nice chicken quesadilla.
Have you ever had a tostada? I think no torta. Have you ever heard the word torta?
I've heard it.
Again, got a job working with Brian, who we were talking about earlier.
Right.
He's like, "Oh, there's a great torta place down the street," and I'm like, "Huh? No, it's a
Is that
Mexican.
like shawarma?
It's a fucking Mexican sandwich." I'm like, "All right, dude, fucking tortas are awesome." You see a place,
Okay.
if you walk into a place and go torta, and they'll be like, "Hey, see, fucking get a torta." Hi, see, what the fuck?
Hey, you Japanese Mexican guy.
Hey,
get
you.
torta.
Hello.
I see.
Cha cha. And yeah, shawarma is another thing. Nobody knew what the fuck shawarma was until the end of the first Avengers movie. So I look it up. It's a fucking euro.
Yeah.
I definitely need a euro place. Is that place still there, by the way, across the street from Jewel over in Berwyn?
No.
It used to be Kings and Queens, and it was like called Nick's or something.
Why would you fucking bring that up?
You live fucking like 3 miles from there. That place is awesome.
Yes, but it's gone. It's a bank now or something.
What the fuck?
Kings and Queens has been gone for years.
No, I know Kings and Queens has been gone, but then it got bought out by somebody else. And the last time I was
Yeah,
2006.
that place was shit.
Well, compared to what we have here in Arizona, are you fucking kidding me?
Well,
It was like manna from God. There's a place like half a mile from me. They're pretty good. Don't get me wrong. I won't kick them out of bed for eating breakfast. In fact, I've walked in there wearing a Blackhawks jersey and gotten free baklava because of it, because they're from Park Forest. And I'm like, hey, I'm from Forest Park. Hey. That place was, oh man, even when it switched hands, like it was 10 years ago, but it was good. Because you got all the real fucking food. Is Parky's still around? Parky's hot dogs? Oh, this look you're giving me. Brown's Chicken, is Brown's Chicken still around?
Oh yeah, Brown's is still around. They were bought by Portillo's, so they're owned by the same place.
What?
So who knows? You might get a Brown's out there soon.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we used to get their fucking...
Portillo's and Brown's like merged at some point.
Because we used to get their fried mushrooms, breaded fried mushrooms, like all the time. Fuck, now I'm hungry again.
Yeah.
You're a dick.
You're a dick.
Fuck you. So...
I still have naughty dreams about Portillo's, about Kings and Queens food. My God, that was the perfect late night, just thud, sit in your stomach for 3 days.
Mm-hmm. What's that smell? I'm sweating that smell.
Welcome.
So my brother Jay and myself go to, now it was Nick's at the time, 10 years ago.
Okay.
My aunt had let us borrow her car. We went there to eat. We went there to eat. We come home the next day. She had like gone out to do something while we were passed out, and we wake up and we're like, eh. And she's like, "Did you guys like eat gyros or something in the car?" We're like, "No, we ate gyros in the restaurant and then got into the car." She's like, "Yeah, it reeks of gyro."
It's like a Seinfeld episode.
Yeah. So, and then something else I wanted to go over, kind of bouncing back to an episode 1 where we were describing the area we grew up in and stuff. And I did look up about Frank Nitti. He actually was Frank Nitti, was not his full name, was his real name. It was like Frank Nico. 3/19/1943 is when he popped himself. His house was right there off of, it was like a block, it was a Harlem Avenue. Okay. And it was like a block east of Harlem, or block west of Harlem, in a regular neighborhood, like right down the street from where you live is where this guy lived. I gotta go for a walk, and blows his brains out because he thought he was getting fucking, the heat was on, so to speak.
Yeah.
So one thing I wanted to bring up, and I have it in big bold letters, Showman's Rest.
Showman's Rest.
I almost want to do a podcast only on Showman's Rest. I listen to a lot of podcasts like Thinking Sideways, and there's another one called Lore, another one. There's a bunch of, here's something spooky and weird that you probably don't know about type of podcasts. And Showman's Rest is one of them, and you live like fucking right there.
Skip and jump.
If that, you could probably throw a rock and hit it. And I just kind of
maybe in high school.
Maybe nowadays it's more like I'll take a Sonder over there, stop off, get some food over at the Polar Bear. What do you know about it? I know what I know, but I don't know what you know or if you know anything.
Well, I just I know the stories I heard when I was a kid, and around the neighborhood we didn't fact check a lot, so I take no responsibility for the veracity or lack thereof.
Hey, Joey said this, so it's got to be true.
Well, because there were the tracks there, and from what I heard, like the circus, I think the circus was going through on the tracks, and the train derailed, and several of the performers were killed, as well as a number of the animals, and so they buried them right there, and that may or may not have been the genesis of that cemetery. But yeah, that's why you go and there's the strong man and stuff like that. Last time you were out, we came.
Yeah, we took pictures of it and stuff. It's actually because Dan
was like, "Oh, Showman's Rest, we gotta go Showman's Rest," and he was driving. So
that's where you go.
Where you go.
It was actually, from what I understand, it was a train derailment that happened in Hammond, Indiana, and I think it was 1914, or maybe 1912. That's all I've been able to find out so far about who was killed, who those people are, and that's true. Yeah, you have headstones.
Showman's Rest is
oh
awesome.
Man, I can hear it. It's new Dre beats, dude. You got to check it. Like Strongman. Nobody knew who in the fuck the guy was, or like four horseman carriage or carriage driver or some shit. There's one there like that. There's one that's called like Twiggy or some shit. I don't know. I was just throwing it out there. I've been thinking about doing a lot of research on it and just seeing what the fuck I can find.
I totally think you should do research on that.
Like I don't have enough shit to do, but I get.
Yeah.
I have a very shiny type of problem. I spent yesterday. I wanted to do stuff, and I'm installing a new hard drive in my laptop because I'm doing that presentation at the Phoenix Comic Con.
What is it? Is that next weekend?
That's no, that's coming up soon. That's May 29th, 30th, 31st, and June 1st. So that is like 2 weeks. Oh,
that's a week and a half, buddy.
Fuck.
That's a week from Friday.
And it's funny is because the recording software I use for doing like my horror gaming and stuff, it's called OBS. And I've been trying to figure out how I can get and playing other games also. So I play a fuck ton of Battlefield 4. And I have it set up where the game sounds come through my speakers. I have the headset, so I'm in a squad and I want to talk to my squad. The squad voices come through here because it gets really like if I throw a grenade and fuck up and it bounces off like I'm throwing it into a window. I bounce it off the windowsill because it's like if I was over a little bit, so I bounce it off. It's like oh shit, it blows everybody up around me. I want to hear them yell at me because when the explosion goes off, if them talking comes through the same speakers, you really can't hear too much.
Right.
So I've had to split it up. Which I can do that while I'm gaming. That's fine. That's no problem. But recording it like that has been a bitch. Using other software and doing a whole bunch of other crap and spending way too much time. I figured out how to do that. Well, then the recording software I use, Open Broadcasting Software, also known as OBS, came out with a new version, and that's all integrated into it.
Nice.
Well, yeah, that's nice. But I just wasted all this time learning how to do it the hard way.
How to do it.
And then they go, oh, by the way,
just click here.
Here's an update. You can just do this now. I'm like, well, I don't have to jump through all these hoops. There's one hoop. There's one hoop that I already know how to jump through. Now it just happens to be on fire. But I'm still just jumping. That's not... Fuck. This happens to me a lot in my life, by the way. So, okay, episode 4 is going to be next. I went over all the points, I think, pretty much that I have.
Okay.
And also Joe Hill, Horns, a YouTube of Learn to Fly. I guess it was a bunch of Italians getting together.
Yes.
Let me put Italians on here. And then War, Justice League, Jim Lee documentary.
Yes. It's like a half hour.
That required for EP4. There we go. Whether or not I actually get around to it, it might happen. Because, once again, I play Heroes of the Storm. Huge fucking update came out today. It's like, what the fuck? They keep changing stuff. The world constantly changes. So, brother, you doing good? You got anything to add? Anything you want to go over? Like, episode 4? I mean, this is Leonard Cho Speaks. I spoke more probably on this episode than anything.
Episode 4. Looking ahead. God. Well, there's always Jon Snow, but you've been avoiding the Game of Thrones.
I've very much been avoiding, just because. Well, look at Battlestar Galactica. No. I really wish. You've watched BSG, haven't you?
No.
Why?
Okay, I loved the original growing up.
Really? You really love the original? With the little fucking Muppet thing where every goddamn show in the 80s had to add the little kid aspect of it. Like Gleek. Like fucking Oro.
It's not that was Muffet, you motherfucker. Alright?
I'm talking about... Right. Yeah, that was Muffet. For the kids. For the kids.
Daggett. And they used his ability to sniff out mushies to save them when the ship was on fire. And so you just fucking respect, man.
You just keep digging the hole deeper. But anyway.
Okay, so I watched the original 4-hour miniseries. And it was fine. Okay, but Katie Sackhoff, I just fucking hate that chick.
Katie.
That's not how you spell Katie. That's Katie. That is Katie. That's her name.
Okay. Maybe. I don't know. I've never heard her. I've never talked to her.
She says Katie, but that's not what I say because I hate her. And I hate her face. And I'm sorry, but okay. If you're going to make Starbuck a chick, she better be prettier than Dirk Benedict. And I'm sorry, that chick ain't. No. Dirk Benedict, 1979, early 80s, he was seriously man pretty.
He was in the movie Scavenger
Face
Hunt.
Man.
Yeah, he was Face also. All right, but if her and him went into the octagon, she's walking out.
Fuck that.
You've never... See? Everybody thought the same thing. I was on the same fence. Fucking Starbucks a chick? Fuck this. But I stuck through it. Let me tell you what. Didn't you see it when she's getting drunk and beats up her fucking officer?
Yeah.
Yeah, she goes more down the
Ooh,
rabbit
I'm
hole.
a chick, but I'm still smoking a stogie, and I'm a hard drinking slugger. But yeah, that's not new.
I wish you watched it because I want to say, okay, her name in the show, not her call sign is Starbuck, is Kara Thrace, and the words "Kara Thrace is a harbinger of doom" comes out and is said during the series, has never been resolved. We don't know why she's considered the harbinger of doom.
Okay, great. So I'm going to watch this show with some dangling mystery. No,
I need you to watch it because you're fucking perspective on goddamn everything. You would watch it and be like, dude, they answered it right here. How did you miss that?
One of these days, I may watch it. It's a weird thing because I have no doubt that it's a good show. I just couldn't get into it. I couldn't.
The first episode of the TV series is called 33.
Okay.
Now I watched that miniseries, which took goddamn forever. And was like, when it ended, it was like, I don't really care what happens after this. I mean, that was interesting and everything. And then this was Christmas of, 2006, 2007, whenever. I had them on DVD. Christmas Day, went over to my parents' house. I brought season 1 and season 2 with on DVD because Jay had bought them for me. And after me and the folks, we all did the whole Christmas thing. I went, I got this Battlestar Galactica. Are you guys interested? We'll watch it. And
Oh, you got them addicted, right? I think you told me this.
yeah, at 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm trying to leave. We started watching at like 11 in the morning. And I'm like, all right, I go to grab the last disc, which we hadn't seen yet. My dad's like, yeah, that's staying here? When you see 33, you can just watch that. And me personally, I was like, what in the how in the fuck are you going to get out of this? You jump. You go to light speed to a location with the last of humanity. 33 minutes later, the Cylons show up. You have to fight them off while everybody's star drives charge or whatever. And then once they're ready to go, fucking land your ships, take off again. You got 33 minutes to rearm, reload, repair. No time to fucking sleep. And when it starts off, they're 5 days into it, and the pilots are just fucking... Do you need any more space meth? Yeah, I guess I could use some more. They're fucking just all space meth out, just trying to stay awake, trying to keep going. Because it has to be. Because every 33 minutes for 5 days straight, these motherfuckers are being chased. And it's like, what the hell? And then it starts coming out, yeah, what's going on? But it's a great episode. I don't think I ruined anything by saying what it was about. But take 42 minutes out of your life, give it a spin, and see what happens.
That's the first episode?
That's episode 1. Yeah, it's called 33. And because the miniseries, or the movie, it was like 2 hours, kind of seemed drawl, kind of seemed boring. Yeah, it was building up characters. Yeah, it was interesting. Oh, you find out the Cylons made themselves look like humans. I saw that before in a movie called Blade Runner.
Only 12 models. There can only be 12. Whatever.
Well, there were 12 disciples. It's heavy religious show. But the thing is, who are the 12? And then you start finding out, wait a minute, they find one who's part of the crew. The Cylons have been there the whole time watching them. And then it comes down to, and then the people who are Cylons don't realize they're Cylons.
Don't know they're Cylons. Because Boomer's a Cylon, right?
Hey! Yes.
Spoiler alert.
Oh, God. I almost said it and I caught myself. And I was like, fuck you, the fucking show is 10 years ago. We ain't fucking seen it.
Almost say it. That's the funny part.
God, I love you. So, all right. Well, that's episode 3, I guess. We kind of went all over the place. I was going to go hardcore Watchmen on this and everything, but
Another day.
We'll do what we can. I think
I'll
we do
try
okay.
to. You know what? I'll try to have some better structure and some clearer talking points for the next one that we'll discuss.
Notes are everything. I've got, for this one, I have, okay, that was episode 2. I have a page of 3. And believe me, when I say I have notes, they're like fucking notes of a high schooler. They're like fucking splattered all over.
Oh, yeah.
Like nothing makes sense. I'm just like, oh, what about this? What about that? I wanted to do one of the things I have written down here is doing a full audio commentary of Watchmen, where we watch the movie together and just start fucking ripping. Like, I go, okay, I have the movie queued up. You ready to hit play? 1, 2, 3. We hit play and we start watching the movie.
Wow.
If you have time for that, we could manage that. That's what we did with Real Booze. That was Real Booze's whole thing. Which unfortunately the website has expired and I'm just kind of letting it go. And well, you have all of the.
I have them. I've been meaning to. I'll be firing that up before too long.
Let's just throw on ET. All I ask is just go ET. Fast forward if you want to go. Just go halfway through it and just listen to my demented fucked upness. But I'm probably gonna shock paddle that one back to life because right now we're on leonardshowspeaks.blogspot.com. I think is where it is. I have everything hosted, and we started up the YouTube channel, and that's all I'm at right now. There's a couple other irons in the fire that I got to work out yet. So behind the scenes stuff, I'm getting taken care of that. As far as notes go, I think I'm pretty good. If I'm not, oh, I know what I wanted to bring up.
What's that?
This is something we've probably touched on before. The Lethal Weapon, Die Hard, same world.
They're from the same writer. Although, actually, did you ever see Ricochet with Denzel Washington?
I met a porn star named Rick O'Shea one time, but I've never seen the movie.
Ricochet is the flick with Denzel Washington where he's a cop and he shoots John Lithgow, and then he becomes a lawyer and he becomes a prosecutor, and John Lithgow gets out of prison and starts trying to tear apart his life.
No.
Okay. Anyway, I forget the actress's name, but you remember the TV reporters in the original Die Hard.
Oh, yeah.
The blonde chick. So actually, they can't be the same world because the blonde chick was she was a
psych in Lethal Weapon.
In Lethal Weapon, but in Die Hard, she played TV reporter Gail Wallens. She plays TV reporter Gail Wallens in Ricochet.
Stop the presses. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
One of the big things the internet has always said that one character who was in one movie and moved over into another movie was, I think, Michael Keaton's character.
Ray Nicolette. I was just about to talk about that.
Okay. This was done before that.
Yes.
So the TV reporter from Die Hard is the same actress, same TV, same name.
Is the TV reporter in Ricochet.
No shit.
I was always hoping because they Out of Sight was written by
Jackie Brown, the guy who wrote Jackie Brown.
Yeah, it's the same guy. Rum Punch.
Leroy Jenkins.
I think it's Leonard something. Anyway,
I was close on the L.
He wrote Fire in the Hole, which was the basis for the TV show Justified.
Really?
Yes.
I've heard that show is awesome. I haven't watched it yet, but I've heard it's awesome.
A great fucking show. You watch the... Oh, God. Dawn loves the Timothy Oliphant. She'd leave me on Christmas morning.
Have you seen The Shield?
Yeah, I faded out on The Shield after a while. It just got a little too grim.
So I'm going to guess you left on the either Forrest Whitaker or Glenn Close seasons.
It was before those.
Oh.
It was when the one punk made the...
One dude sucked the dick and they took the pictures? Yeah. Yeah, that is about...
I was like, dude, this is not making me happy. This...
That is... I would like to say that's as dark as it goes, but it, towards the end...
Elmore Leonard.
There you go.
Elmore Leonard. Anyway, so I was always... Because he wrote... Michael Keaton played Ray Nicolette. Elmore Leonard was written on both... And... Okay, hang on.
Your mouth can't keep up with your brain.
Trying to speak. Take two. So, Elmore Leonard wrote Out of Sight. He wrote the book that Jackie Brown is based on, and he wrote Justified. Now, Out of Sight features Karen Sisco, who was played in the movie by Jennifer Lopez. But
okay.
There was a Karen Sisco television series where Carla Gugino played her. Carla Gugino guest starred on Justified. I don't know what the thing was. They only referred to her as Karen. She wasn't Karen Sisco. They referred to her by a different last name, and they mentioned that she got married and divorced or whatever. But they strung the universe together. I was always dying. I'm like, please, pay Michael Keaton $1 million if you have to, just to get him on there as some dick FBI agent named Ray Nicolette and just make all my dreams come true.
What's the fucking deal with Keaton, man? The last two Oscar winners for Best Picture, Keaton's been in them.
Yeah. Wait, two?
Yeah. Spotlight was the last one. And before that was Birdman.
That's right.
Keaton's making a fucking Batman comeback.
Yeah.
I don't know what the fuck his deal is, but God bless you, Michael Keaton.
I heard he got gypped out of Best Actor. I haven't seen the movie yet, but
oh, you haven't seen Spotlight?
I saw Spotlight, but he was a lot of people were predicting him to win for Birdman, and it didn't happen.
I haven't seen Birdman.
Me neither. Spotlight was a groovy flick.
Fucking A. I'm watching that, and I got the girl here, and I'm like, I don't even know what it's about. And she's like, oh, it's about the priests and the boy grabbers and stuff. And I was like, oh,
Why
good flick.
why do altar boys part their hair down the middle?
Why?
It's from the priest saying, "It's not a sin.
Oh!
It's not a sin."
It's like when the janitor is sitting there cleaning the church and the priest comes out of the confessional going, I gotta take a shit real quick. Can you come and take a couple of different, listen to some confessions? And somebody gives the confession, and the janitor's like going, I don't know what the fuck to do about this. So he fucking pokes his head out and he sees an altar boy walking. He's like, hey, listen, because the person was like, I gave a blowjob. So he's like, hey, what does the priest usually give for a blowjob? And the altar boy goes, I don't know, like a candy bar and a Coke. So I have a problem eating candy bars and Coke at the same time. I'm like, fuck, everybody's going to think I blew a priest. Always buy those items separately, and when you eat them, if you do eat them simultaneously, do it in the privacy of your own home. Don't do it when you're fixing a priest's computer. You're sitting there, it's like, so, computer guy, is he drinking a Coke, eating a candy bar? It's like, how long are you wanting to be here?
You want to earn yourself a Coke and a candy bar? Huh? Huh?
You may not be Catholic, but you might want to be. God, if we're wrong, we have problems. So, I gotta look up this fucking thing. You said something earlier, and I got it written down here. Yeah, let's look up. I'm not telling you. You'll find out. I have a tendency, stuff flies out of your mouth, and I'm going, I wonder if he's right about that.
Sometimes at an alarming rate.
Yeah.
Just flies out there.
So next week, so we should, if you ever want to do a Watchmen, if you ever want to do an audio commentary, we could do that. Whenever you have time, and just say, boom, we'll sit down and watch a movie together, and just fucking talk the entire time, do our own commentary on the movie, which I've always wanted to do with you. So
that would be awesome.
Yeah, pick the movie. We could fucking turn these things into doing that. Because I don't even know how long we've been talking.
Well, we've been on the call for close to 2 hours. I don't know how long we've been recording.
Maybe probably an hour and a half. Because it was 25 minutes of us talking before we started, so.
Okay, yeah, about an hour and a half.
So I'll end this. We'll stay on. We'll talk a little bit. But that was another episode of Leonard Show Speaks, kind of all over the place. Kind of a little bit of, we were going to talk about Watchmen.
That's part of our charm.
And, yeah, we just kind of
know where we're going to go next.
We're wild card bitches. Wild card bitches. Did we have a sign off? I thought we developed
the wild cards.
What was our sign off? Didn't we have a sign off on the last episode we were going to use?
I